ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. Can somebody save me, I'm losing every battle.
And good morning. Good morning, beautiful people. How is everybody doing on this gorgeous day? It is like literally, I'm looking out the window, beautiful. It's the day the Lord made. It's always beautiful. So welcome. This is the Brand Momentum Morning Show. I'm your host, Faith James. And for those of you who are new to the show, what we do every single day, Monday through Friday, is give you a little vitamin I. And that's your I for inspiration. And whether it's for your life, whether it's for your business, it doesn't matter. We get to be in full potential, full momentum. And I want you to think about who else do you know that could use some vitamin I? Who else do you know that maybe is kind of like dragging, not feeling really kind of present to their life in terms of what it is that they're meant to be doing here on this glorious earth? And invite them in. Go share and tag, as I love to ask you to do if you're so inclined. And we're going to start reading. Let's see who is here with us. Good morning, gorgeous Sandra Jackson. Good morning, beautiful. Thank you for being here. Brenda Warren is in the house. I love it. Good morning, my love. How are you? So let us get into it. We are going to be covering now chapter 3 in Audacity to be Queen. We're in chapter 3. Good morning, beautiful Jacqueline. How are you feeling today, gorgeous? Hello, Vivian, beautiful. How are you? I love it. I love it. Ooh, congratulations. Look, we've got so many authors that hang out in the Momentum crew. Jacqueline just had her book as well. And now Brenda, beautiful. See, this is what forward momentum looks like. This is what momentum looks like. Good morning, beautiful Amber. How are you, gorgeous? Good morning, Marion. I love it. The entire Momentum crew is in the house. Okay, so chapter 3, we won't worry about fancy. Chapter 3, the feminine mystery. Femininity. It's been hunted, attacked, scrutinized, silenced, hidden, underestimated, scandalized, and killed, dating back from ancient times to this very day. Some fancy. No. Something that the masses across the globe work so hard to harness must be powerful, valuable, intimidating, and important. So she's talking about the power of the feminine, that it's been attacked, it's been hunted, it's been scrutinized, it's been silenced, it's been hidden, it's been underestimated, it's been scandalized, it's been killed since going back to the very beginning of ancient times. So therefore, it must be that powerful. So we get to understand that as women, we have that feminine power and we get to activate that. When you think about the essence of what feminine power is, just if we just go to the base idea of being a mom, the ability to bring forth life, the ability to carry a human inside of you. Ladies, listen, do you understand what kind of power that is? Shout out to all the moms. If you're a mom, put a 1 in the chat. You know firsthand what that feminine power is. You have it. Every single one of us as women have it. We were created by God himself with that feminine power that is unto us and unto us alone. I love it. Look at all the moms. Sandro, yes. 1. Vivian, yeah. Listen, single mom of 4. I mean, that's powerful. Jacqueline, yeah. Let us just recognize all of the moms in the Momentum crew, because that is your power. So what is it? Where is it? Who is it? This is beginning to sound like a Dr. Seuss book. And sadly, that's the way it looks in society as well. Most people mistake femininity for emotional fragility or donning a 1950s gingham apron. Some confuse it with feminist movements march that fight for equal pay and women's rights. Still, others judge it as seductive or witch-like, threatened by what they cannot see and don't understand. Since this invisible concept is neither taught in schools nor modeled enough in real life, even women are undereducated about what femininity actually is. Some think it can be achieved with mini skirts and lipstick, consequently missing its profound power by a mile. Others, convinced that femininity is a weakness, have become so addicted to the masculine way of getting ahead that they avoid the topic entirely, with apparently zero interest in putting down the bottle of busyness to save their adrenals. At the same time, there is a trend going viral with modern day women like us who are interested in discovering and developing our femininity. We know there is a more divine, pleasurable, and smarter way to do life. And our instinct is that the feminine mysteries will show us how. But when it comes down to actually excelling in our careers, mediating challenges at home, or tapping into our potential, can we really trust that being more feminine will actually result in greater success? Our skepticism is valid. Femininity is the most understood, villainized, controversial, and suspicious word of our generation. And ladies, that's about to change. Grab a Burberry trench coat and let's investigate how femininity rose to #1 on America's most wanted list. So then she gets into the masculine and the feminine dance. But before we dive into that, I want to hear from you. Yes, mom of 2, mom of 1. Yep, Jacqueline says she's got that. Single mom for over 18 years. Wow. So powerful. And you get to understand how to activate it. And what we're reading, that it's not just about sexiness. It's not being overtly, into your body. It's more divine than that. Since the beginning of time, the universe had it beautifully worked out for Mother Nature and all living things to thrive in their full glory. In this divinely designed utopia, masculine and feminine energy were created to work together in perfect harmony. Just like nature is meant to thrive with the masculine and feminine balance, so are humans, so are human beings. Regardless of gender, every person has both feminine and masculine energy within them. Fundamentally, masculine energy is about giving and feminine energy is about receiving. The integration of both is essential to all life. Each energy is designed to enhance and support the contribution of the other. The masculine bucket is full of things like timetables and roadmaps, spreadsheets and skyscrapers. It encompasses all things linear, logical, tangible, and concrete. Personified by Ed or Edith in accounting, who drives a Navy Volvo, masculine energy is stable, high performing, protective, and predictable. It's also the energy that initiates action, thinks things through, and sets up structures and systems. Empowered masculinity in the universe's design is gorgeously strong, generous, and genius. Its purpose is to be in service to the feminine. Take a glass of water, for example. The glass is the masculine concrete structure that supports the flowing feminine water. The masculine container is necessary for the feminine water to fulfill its purpose of nourishing the drinker. Without the glass, the water spills all over the place and cannot do its job. So we get to understand there's like that harmony, right? Each of us contain both feminine and masculine energy. And it's so important that you understand how to do that. Good morning, beautiful Karen. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Sandra, she's mom of 4 boys and 3 grands. Love it. So the water, meanwhile, encompasses all things invisible, intuitive, beautiful, pleasurable, and visionary. It's the feminine energy that connects you with your dreams, creativity, and miracles. Just like your crazy Aunt Ginger, who's always jetting off on some amazing trip to places like Bhutan or Bangkok and comes back with rare jewels, Asian artifacts, and her much younger new beau, femininity is spontaneous, it's sexy, it's unpredictable, it's unapologetic, and plays by her own rules. Empowered femininity in God's design is miraculous, mystical, and outlandish in all the right ways. The 6th sense is at her core. So is the inner ear and the 3rd eye. Her purpose is to receive. She gives you the ability to dream up a life worth living, play way outside the box, invent creative solutions, expand your thinking, and attract your way to maximum success. As exciting as your feminine power is, a queen's wisdom is that you also need masculine energy. So hear that very clearly. This is not about just the feminine energy. We need both. But the harmony of the two together is really what's important. Without it, we lack the money to fund our dreams, the systems and structures to share our gifts with others, and the discipline to take consistent action on behalf of our vision. So if you think about this in terms of your business, right? So as the feminine energy, the creativity, the ability to connect with source and like get divine downloads. But you also need the masculine, meaning your CRM. You need to have your sales funnels. You need to have your spreadsheets that give you a sense of, accounts receivables, right? So you need both. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, my business isn't going the way that it is, you get to really inspect, are you in balance with both the creativity and the ideas, right, necessary to come up with brilliant wisdom, brilliant creative expression? And do you also have the ability to know who paid you and how many invoices are still outstanding? Are you guys getting this? Put landing. It is landing with you. Put hashtag landing if it is landing with you. So we don't get to choose one or the other. We seek the harmony. Because it doesn't matter how brilliant and creative you are, if you can't manage and run your business, if you can't manage and run your household, it's for naught. Then you just have chaos, and then you just have people, running around in just like craziness. So we get to figure out how we get to that harmony. Yeah. Awesome. Great. We get to have both. We get to have both, ladies. This is what's key. So if you've been telling yourself, oh, I don't like spreadsheets. Numbers is not my thing. And if you don't have a team of people who you can delegate that to, then we get to embrace the idea that we bring together both within us, because they both get to be done, right? Both get to be done. You could be a musical artist. You've seen stories before. They're just out front, they're performing, they're all about the art. And then there's some ne'er-do-well business manager who's, taken 80% of their money, it's gone, and they had no idea. So even though she was fully present in her feminine power and creativity and, right, the masculine bit of your business still gets to be done. Brilliant. It's landing. Let's keep going. Okay. As exciting as your feminine power is, a queen's wisdom is that you also need masculine energy. So important that you catch this morning. Without it, we lack the money to fund our dreams, the systems and structures to share our gifts with others, and the discipline to take consistent action on behalf of our vision. Keeping the integration of feminine and masculine is how we can have both our connection to the divine and our ability to make big things happen in the world. In my 20 years of doing this work, I've identified a number of characteristics that relate to the polarities of feminine and masculine laid out in the following chart. Read the list from left to right and consider where in your life you show up more masculine or feminine. All right, so grab your notepads, get your journals. I'm gonna go through the list with you. So on a sheet of paper, you're going to have 2 columns, right? On the left column at the top right, femininity, the right column at the top right, masculinity. I'm going to give you the words. Let me know when you're ready. Just stay ready when you're ready while I sip my coffee. Yeah, always come to the Momentum Show with your pen and your journal ready. Are we ready? Somebody tell me ready if you're ready. All right, Brenda's ready. We go. So under the femininity column, being, B-E-I-N-G, being. The corresponding word under masculinity, doing. So we're doing the characteristics. You're going to have this chart. Femininity, 1 column, masculinity, 1 column. The first words corresponding on the left, it's being, and masculinity, it's doing. Second word, feeling, corresponding word on the masculine side, thinking. Third, spontaneous, corresponding on the masculine side, predictable. Next word, intuitive, corresponding on the masculine side, logical. Next word, playful, corresponding on the masculine side, results oriented. Next word, beautiful, corresponding masculine, functional. Next word, invisible, corresponding masculine word, concrete. Next word, circular, corresponding masculine word, linear. Next word, dynamic, corresponding masculine, sturdy. Next word, vulnerable, corresponding masculine, protective. Next word, feminine, is nurturer, nurturer. Corresponding masculine, provider. Next, community, and next to community, in parentheses, put we. So community, we. The masculine correspondence, individuality, I. Next word, and. Correspondent masculine, or. Or. Next, receiving, put the receiving like big, underline that, receiving, corresponding masculine, giving. So I'm going to run through once more. Femininity, one column, masculinity, one column. These are the words that go right under in corresponding alignment. Femininity, being, masculine, doing. Feeling, thinking. Spontaneous, predictable. Intuitive, logical. Playful, results-oriented. Beautiful, functional. Invisible, concrete. Circular, linear. Dynamic, sturdy. Vulnerable, protective. Nurturer, provider. Community, meaning we. Individuality, I. And, or. Receiving, giving. So now, yeah, I love that Vivian said, wow. So now what we get to do is our own audit. So as you look at your chart and you look at each of these characteristics, you get to sort of just sit with that for a minute and then think about, where do you show up more often? Where are you mostly, because again, there are times you're going to flow in between, but on the whole, where are you showing up? So you want to look at the list, and if you were just going to assign a number 1 to each and count, so let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so there are 14. Assign 1 each. So if you would say, you know what, I'm mostly being, you would put a 1 next to your being under the femininity. If you're mostly doing, you put a 1 there. So you can't put a 1 on being and doing. Right now, what we're doing is just like really getting a baseline, if you will, in terms of how do we show up most often. Again, allowing for that there are days that we show up probably in a little bit of both. So go ahead and give each characteristic a 1 if that's where you're showing up. And remember, you can't do a 1 for both. We're looking for more than usual. Where do you show up mostly and get a sense? No, Jacqueline, you get to pick 1. We get this. So this is what we're saying is, where do we show up? Am I more in the characteristic of beautiful versus functional? Am I more circular or am I more linear? Like when you're linear, it's like a railroad track. We're on this track and we're just going straight down. We don't allow for any bobbing and weaving. That means if you had a meeting that was scheduled at 3 and somebody says, oh my gosh, you know what? Something else popped up. Can we push this meeting to 5? And you're like, nope, my entire day is scheduled for this meeting at 3. Can't do anything different. So a little bit of inflexibility. So if that were you, you would say, I show up mostly in linear. Like when I set my day, when I set my calendar, I don't allow for anybody to come shift me around. Good time Tina can't just roll up on me and say, oh my gosh, there's this like amazing sale at Neiman's. Do you want to go? Right? Or if you're like, hey, schedules are made to be shifted, we can reschedule this conference call. Yeah, let's go. Who's driving, me or you? Where are you mostly showing up? And then yes, isn't it very, very eye-opening? So if you see that of the 14, you've got 10 in masculinity and 4 in femininity, then you're not in harmony. You're more masculine dominant. So Jacqueline's saying she only has 3 in only 3 in masculine, that you're not. That I only have 3 in masculine. I don't understand that, Jacqueline. What's your total under the masculinity column? So is that 3, and then you've got what, 11 ones under femininity? So that's what we get to do. We get a 1 for the one that says that I mostly show up like this. So for example, I just want to make sure this is clear. This is what it looks like. So if I say, right, I'm mostly in my being, in my feminine being. So I would put a 1 next to the being. I would not put anything next to the doing. So you come down here and I think, okay, feeling versus thinking. Okay, I'm thinking mostly. So I'm going to put a 1 next to the thinking. I'm not going to put anything for feeling, right? You only get to do 1 score on 1 line. Spontaneous, predictable. I'm more spontaneous. I'm going to put a 1. I'm not going to put anything for the predictable. Intuitive, logical. I'm going to put a 1 because I'm more intuitive. Playful, results oriented. I'm going to put a 1 because I'm more results oriented. You get what I'm saying? And then you tally up. Okay. No, Jacqueline, you can't have 11. You only get 1 score per line. 1 score per line. So let me do this again. So if I'm in my masculinity, I'm more doing. I'm busy doing, getting things done. This would be a 0. You wouldn't put anything for that. So there are 14. So if one column is 11, that means the other column is 3. But Jacqueline, this is what I'm saying to you. We don't get to say I'm both. You get to pick 1. This is where the discipline and the rigor comes in, because it's easy to say because I could say the same thing. I flex between all of them. What we're looking for is your dominant, right? It's like saying, hey, I've got 2 hands. Okay. 99% of the population have 2 hands as well. But are you right hand dominant or are you left hand dominant? I'm right hand dominant, but I have 2 hands. Well, we're just asking for which is your dominant hand, my right hand. So I would only get a score for my right hand. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, so Vivian, you have 7, and then that means on the masculine, you would also have had 7. Is that what you calculated? So then that would say, okay, Vivian's sort of in that harmony, right? She's a little bit of both, which is where we want to be. We don't want to be perfect. We don't want to be dominantly one or the other. We want to be like this, in harmony, that we are expressing both masculine and feminine energy. If you ran down and you're like, I'm 14 on femininity, then that's a challenge for you, because we just talked about the Queen Wisdom knows you get to have both your feminine and your masculine energy present. Again, femininity coming up with brilliant ideas. Oh my gosh, I have this amazing idea for a retreat in the jungles of Costa Rica where we're going to do Zen work. We're going to do restorative work for the rainforest. And then we do restorative work on ourselves, and we're going to do yoga, and we're going to eat clean. right? Wonderful idea. Okay, here comes the masculine now. Project management. Okay, what time, what date? Do we know that the rainforest is going to be able to hold all of your group? Where are you staying? Some of the hotels only have room for 20 at a time. You have a group of 100, so that means we're going to need to have 5 other sort of annex properties. How do we get there? What's the transportation like? What's the vaccination requirement? What, right? That's the masculine energy. So if you're like this big thinker, big dreamer, oh my gosh, I just see a world where everybody is in their full potential, and on this brilliant Earth Day, everybody is just like, ooh, radiating, but you don't know how to pull it together. You have no project management in your bone. You're like, I don't know, how do I collect the money? How do the people pay? That's a problem. Okay, so Vivian's saying as a single mom, she's taken on more of the masculine characteristics like the provider, individually, protector, giving, results oriented. Exactly. And so this is the work that gets to be done. So even though, right, Vivian's taking on that role of the giving, the big word at the bottom, the giving, being the provider for her family now as a single mom. But she gets to remember that she gets to also bask in her femininity. So she's not just like, now she's pretending she's a man. She's providing while being nurturing, right? She's predictable. Yes, my kids get off at 3, so I need to be present to pick my kids up at 3, but she can also be spontaneous. Hey kids, it's Sunday. Let's go to, let's just go to the beach. Let's go to the beach and then just do like a road trip, right? In that feminine spontaneity. So this is where you really want to spend some time looking at your characteristics and seeing where you can balance. I haven't done this for myself, but I know I can look at this and probably with 90% certainty say most of my energy up until this point has been very heavy in the masculine. And so vulnerable, as a perfect example, the masculine word being protective, when you are in survival mode, or if you're in, oh my gosh, this has to work because I'm single mom, you can easily slip into that protective mode, protect myself, protect my kids, protect my home, all of that. And then you miss out on the superpower of being vulnerable, of just sharing, just like, bearing your chest and like sharing, I'm human. I do have these challenges. And when you're in your vulnerability, that's where you have powerful connections, because then other people see that and go, oh, wow, I can absolutely connect with her on that, because I too have the same story. So do that bit of work and come to your number, come to your assessment of, am I mostly, so Jacqueline, Jacqueline's not getting what I'm saying. So yes, so when Vivian did her work, she got a 7 on both sides. What were your numbers, Jacqueline? What I'm saying is you can't have a 14 on one side and an 11 on one side. Then that means you're not doing the assignment correctly. You only get to score one of the words. So vulnerable and protective. Only one of those words can get a score. Even though sometimes you're both, what we're looking for is 9 out of 10 times. Are you more vulnerable, sharing, open from the heart, or are you more protective, guarded, keeping your secret safe, not letting, as we say in Jamaica, we don't want to butt in on my business? Which one? We do both from time to time, but more often than not, it's one. So that's what we get to do. And our brain gets to be involved in this, because we just want to say, I'm everything. I'm everything. And that's easy to say. But until you do the nuanced work to say, okay, well, what's mostly true for me? What's mostly true? And if you're in harmony, then you would have 7 on one side and 7 on the other side. That's what we're looking to do. Like Karen says, she's got 7 on each side. So Karen is in that harmony of balancing, right? Kind of, it would look like this. If you're in that harmony balance, like, so there are going to be some days that you do more than others, but overall, on the whole, this is what your life and your expression looks like. It's not this, right? It's not the word in the street about you is, oh my gosh, she's a big dreamer. She's got all kinds of ideas, but honey, the details in her are not friends. She invited us over to this big thing and that, you know, there weren't any chairs and there weren't any silverware. Because the functional, the linear, the results oriented, that's not your strength right now. You're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be wonderful. This, da, 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 da. The details, you weren't present to the details. And so that can absolutely impact your reputation in the street. That can absolutely impact your reputation, even within family. If you're known for being one way versus the other, if you're more in your masculine energy and your friends are going to go, oh my gosh, she's such a stick in the mud. She doesn't do X, Y, and Z. We're not going to invite her to this thing. Where if you're like, oh yeah, she's very corporate. She can, you know, show up and have a meeting with the board of directors, but she can also be like, giving good time Tina a run for her money when it comes to girl time and gathering together, right? That's what you want to have. So if you're not in that full expression of this, that's where we get to work toward. Your feminine power is powerful. When you're in business, you're the CEO of you. Sometimes mistakenly, women think they've got to get that man energy. There was an article that I was reading, it might have been a year or so ago, where it talked about board of directors and companies that are led by female business owners do more profits than those that are dominated by men. Because that's the power of the feminine energy, to be able to nurture. When you're in your feminine power, you're nurturing people into their potential, and you're causing them to step out and even push more than they normally would, versus the energy of, you're supposed to get $400,000 on the table by June 5th and you didn't do it, and and then people shrink away from you. So they're not pushing, they're not stretching to do more, because your energy is so hard. It's boom, 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 boom. Not pulling out people's full potential. But then also on the flip side, if you're too light and intuitive and lofty and a dreamer and say, oh my gosh, don't even believe a word what she said, because it's all just smoke and mirrors. I bet you she doesn't even have a location for this event that she's already inviting people to. You know, are the speakers going to use PowerPoint, or they're going to just speak from the heart? Does she even have those details? Or last minute, you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you, I need slides for the presentation, and the presentation's tomorrow. That if that's the word on the street about you in terms of how you run your business, it's no good either. So you get to be in that harmony. So let this be the visual representation for today's session, right? It looks like it's not this, you know, because if you were at being the CEO of you, some of you heard Hans de Graaf from the Brainfulness Institute talk about, it's not that you seek balance, it's harmony. So balance looks like this. It's equal. You're trying to so hard to not move your hand, and it's tight, and it's, oh my gosh, this, you know, I got to balance this right here, right? Harmony gives you like this, little up, little down, but for the whole, everything is in harmony. Yes. Fire for the feminine power. Let's see. Karen says, I'm very much intuitive, so much so that I'm not open to hearing anything from the logical side. I love this. I love staying in the clouds of possibility, but if the dream is ever to materialize, I'll need the logical energy to land it. That's it. Karen's got it. The feminine power to be intuitive and to see further than other people can see, to see the idea in its fullness, to see the idea fully expressed when other people are like, well, how are you going to do X, Y, and Z? Right? That's the feminine power, the intuitive, to get connected, to get divine downloads. But as Karen says, we need the masculine energy to land it. The event must take place in a place. The people must have a place to sit. There must be a way for you to take payments. Right? Are you going to have food? You need to hire a caterer, an event planner to sort out the details for you. If you're not able to do it yourself, that's when you're going to call in Melody Dixon, CEO, founder, Pro Event Planners. So what I'm saying is, it's not that you get to do everything yourself, but you get to resource and surround yourself with the people who have the really, really good, strong masculine energy skills that you need to land your dream, to land your vision. So this is why it's important to understand why I say stand in your truth. We get to stand in our truth. It's not trying to posture and say I'm one thing. You get to, what is the truth of you? You know what? I'm like 80% masculine. So therefore, I need to surround myself. You notice one of the words, the and or. Yes, and. This is why I always hear me say, surround yourself with yes and people. The yes and people are the visionary thinkers. The yes and people are the people of potential. The yes and people are the people of possibilities. Not or. Well, you can have it here or you can have it here. No, what about and? What about and? And we could coordinate with blah, blah, blah. And we could do a virtual stream. And we could do a Zoom with the family members who can't come to the reunion. And exactly, Karen. It's complementing. It's not competing. The whole requires both. None better than the other. You need both. And if the both right now isn't present within you, number one, you get to be present to that and see, how can I show up more in whatever I'm missing? Right? How can I show up more in what I'm missing? So let's just say, okay, so if I'm always just the logical, results oriented people, then I get to have somebody on my team who is an intuitive and playful, has that characteristic to bring the other half to the idea. So when you think about even in corporate where they're having company meetings and company events, that when you're planning it, you have both sides of the table present so that it just doesn't become a whole day of boring, just taking notes. If you were at my retreat, you experience that. So yes, while we had the speakers who were coming to show up and speak powerfully into business and business profits and how to be successful, we also had the interlude. And we had Eileen doing the grounding meditation. And we had the singers playing, singing beautiful songs, and the musicians who were playing, right? It's the interlude. So we got to have both. This is why when you think about your brain, left brain, right brain, it's no accident. You get to have both present. So yes, this is a serious conference about how to grow your business, how to grow your profitability, how to become a really well-grounded, sustained business that's not going to fail in the first 5 years. And you also get to have music. You also get meditation, and you also get a dance break. When I said to each of the speakers, what's your fight song? And we just broke out into dancing. That's the full expression of being in your feminine and in your masculine energy. So Vivian, you get to be more practical and functional, not trying, be like Yoda. There is no try. You either do or you don't do. So I get to be more practical and functioning, more thinking, right? You get to do that. So love it. Karen says ideas are a dime a dozen, and without the complimentary help of others, it will never be worth a dime. Yes. I think it was Shay Brown, he was one of the speakers at the event, who said that. He said, one idea executed is better than 20 brilliant ideas in a journal on your shelf. One idea executed. So yes, we get to know that. Yes, it was so good. It was so divinely inspired. And so that becomes a model for you when you're thinking about, okay, I'm putting on, an event. It doesn't just have to be like for the bookworms, to use that term. You also get to have fun. One of the things that I'm going to be working with the CEOs in the upcoming CEO Bootcamp and Mastermind program is teaching them HQC, high quality connections. And how do you create high quality connections? So it's not just like, oh, I know this person, and it's not about the length of time. It's the quality of the connection that you experience while encountering that person. One of the strategies for getting to HQC is play. It's play. So how can you add the quotient of play to your meeting? How can you add the quotient of play to your event? How can you add the quotient of play to your family gatherings? Think about for your Thanksgiving, think about for holiday, Hanukkah coming up. So it's not just, oh, everybody's going to like overstuff themselves on grass-fed turkey. And then it's like, oh my gosh, then here comes the snooze fest. Now everybody's watching the football. Now you're tired. Now you're sleeping. And it's just like, right, it's so anticlimactic. How can you add HQC to any event that you're doing? So if you, thank you, my love. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And if you weren't there and you're like, what are they talking about? And you want to get the replay, you can go to the beingtheceoofyou.com. Let me see if I can put this in here. And you can still just go ahead and click the link and upgrade to VIP. One thing that I'm working on right now that it's so, let me see if I can share. Do I dare share? See, this is what I love to do. So because I'm the CEO of me, I get to do whatever I want. So I'm going to take you in the back office right now into the PBC. How fun is that going to be? This was literally this right here now. What's happening is a God deposit. I had no plans on even sharing any of this with you, but you get to see the feminine and the masculine energy at play, right? So yes, I talk about, oh my gosh, the retreat, and it was put on really well, and we had beautiful musicians, and right, all of that's great, and the information was solid. Then the masculine energy then has to think about, okay, how do I deliver the replay? Because that was part of the VIP upgrade. When you upgrade, you get the replay. So the link has already been sent out. The link will be sent out if you go ahead and pay now. But I want to show you what I'm doing with that for the VIPs. So this is the back office. These are all the published courses right now. See this, what's coming up? Ultimate Social Branding course. Get ready. So here is so everybody who paid for VIP will actually be added to this portal. So you don't have to, let me get rid of this thing here so we can see this properly. You don't have to go through 8 hours of tape, right? Because that's what you have right now. Because I just wanted to get it out. So this is what you'll do. You'll be added to this portal. You've already paid, so you'll just be automatically added to it. You can come here. This is lifetime access. So anytime you want to see what's going on or refresh. You know, Vivian was saying was so great. What if one of the speakers, one or two of the speakers really spoke to you and you had some things that you wanted to query? Guess what? So this is just the rough outline of it right now. All of the speakers get to go. So here it is. Now you have Joseph's section and it's just his. Here is Tasha. So if you're like, oh, I really love what she said, I want to go back and hear what she said. So every single speaker, my video team is creating the edits right now. Every single speaker will be here. And when I do the because also included was a ticket to the social branding masterclass, that replay will be here as well, along with the PDF of the branding checklist. So how good is that? That's going to be amazing. That's going to be serving so well. And so that's where when you think about, okay, well, what is the experience that I want the attendees to have? It's like, you could just say, sure, here's the link and you're done. But I want to create another experience where it's easy and it's in flow. So it's that balance of, okay, so of course that requires me to use my portal and get the video team to edit and coordinate it so that the videos show up in the order it was received. That's mixing in the masculine and the feminine. So I love. So Vivian, if you paid VIP, you're going to get this. You're going to get added to this portal so you can literally just go through. And if you want to go to a particular speaker, it'll be there. The link would have been already sent. So the link with the full 8 hours is there. Check your email. Yes, check your email. The full link is there, but I'm also doing this so that you can then just click through speaker by speaker and making your replay experience that much more powerful. So if you guys are interested, the Dean and I are hosting a free pricing strategy masterclass on April 27th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So this is for the entrepreneurs. This is for the business owners. If you've been thinking, I've been wanting to change my pricing for the longest time, but I'm scared. I don't know what to do. What should I charge? How do I do it? How do I dare open my mouth and say the price is going up? You want to register for this free event. So it is beingtheCEOofyou.com /pricing masterclass. You want to click on that and register. It's April 27th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Dean and I will be doing a full hour. And one of the questions that you get to consider, or at least prep, is what your current pricing strategy is right now. So, your products and services, what are you charging? When was the last time you changed your price? And you'll get all the amazing. I mean, this cannot get any gooder. Like, this is the Dean of the School of Business who teaches entrepreneurship, who teaches all things business, and again, this is why I want you to see that the CEO boot camp, which is here at the CEOintensive.com, that you also get to be a part of, starts May 3rd. It's a $250 refundable down payment now to lock your space in and have a conversation with me so I can explain to you what the requirements are and whether you get to go or not. If not, you get your $250 back, but this is going to be powerful. I am assembling a board of directors. This is the showstopper, the board of directors. So I just added a board of director who was a former executive producer at Quest for PBS. I mean, Desmond Bishop Tutu sits on her board. And so she's now present as a board of director for my CEO. So they get to, in the 6-week program, once per week, you get to show up and stand virtually and present to the board, introduce yourself. This is who I am. This is my company. This is what I've been doing. This is what I've tried. This is what's worked. This has not worked. My ask is, and then all of the board of directors are there for you to help you, give you ideas, strategize, mastermind with you, give you connections. You want more visibility, you'll get booked on at least 2 of the 3 shows that I'm affiliated with, connected with. So it's just such a powerful program. I want you to just at least give yourself the opportunity to go take a look at it and see what's out there. Hans de Graaf he's in the Netherlands. He's the CEO of the Brainfulness Institute, as one of the board of directors. Francine Humphrey, who is the CEO of Black Tops Financial, is on the board of directors. Lily Fournier, who is the executive producer of Women's Live, the 3-day live event celebrating women across the world, is on the board of directors. These are people that you want to get connected to. These are people that you wouldn't just naturally bump into anyway. So anytime you can get connected with people with potential and power and purpose, you want to be there. You want to be there. And I'm going to be talking to the dean today about having him serve on the board as well. So powerful, powerful, powerful. Get into the CEO intensive, get into the masterclass. If you just go to my Facebook page, I'm sharing the link to the masterclass. You don't want to miss that. That's free. There's no reason for you not to be there. And the CEO intensive is, when you think about the fact that how much longer are you willing to circle the drain? How much longer are you willing to be stuck right where you are? It's a decision only you get to make, right? I can only show up and present myself to you. I can only show up and be so open and so available to you, but only and until you decide, yes, I am done being stuck. I am done playing small. I am done being not seen. And I get to get on this journey with you. I've made it so easy for you. A refundable $250 to have the conversation, because one of the reasons I do it this way is so that you understand the mastermind portion requires a certain level of participation, because that's what a mastermind is. You can't just come and take the downloads and take the replays and take, and then you're not physically showing up to mastermind and input back into other CEOs. So get in. Yep, absolutely. Stelita knows. Stelita's in. Get in, and get in. That's just, one of my favorite quotes is, opportunity looks like work because it shows up in overalls, and then people miss it because they're like, oh, that's work. But here's what I know to be true. When you're working in this program, you're working with me every day, Monday through Friday. The accountability is key, because so it's not a lack of information. Let me just say this. The Google is full of all the information. The YouTube is full of all the how-tos. So you could take a significant number of time, months, years even, and go dig through, plow through, mine through, find the information. And then after you've done that, then you have to have the discipline, right? The decided rigor to then get everything done. I've been doing this work I know the thing that misses a lot of people is they just don't get it done. So it's not like, oh, this information you can't find where to go find out about high quality connections. It's out there. It's published. Positive psychology has all of the information on it, but are you doing it? Are you doing it? Do you know how to pitch? One of the things we're going to be doing is role playing. Because in the moment that you have a connection, you're at an event and you see somebody who you're like, oh my gosh, I really wanted to talk to this person about my new idea, right? So this is where the feminine energy, you've got this brilliant vision, and you get to have some investments, some sourcing to bring it to pass. Do you know how in that moment to create that high quality connection and share that vision so much that person says yes and? It's a powerful thing when you can do it. Hey, Kina, when you can do that. So go to the CEOintensive.com, go check it out, make your decision for yourself. We go on May 3rd, right? The doors are closing and will not be reopened until the next boot camp is announced. So you really want to do yourself that favor. So any questions before we wrap? That I can help you with. Otherwise, I will see everybody back here tomorrow. I get to go over to Women Helping Women group and do a Facebook Live for them. And just be in full power, be in your full power, be in your feminine power, but also know that you get to balance that with your masculine energy. It's not one or the other, it's the harmony of the both. And when you can get there with ease and grace, then that's where you get to stay. You get to always be in remembrance that you're both. You're not one or the other. And if you've been in the masculine energy thinking because you're in business, you got to do and like elbow people out of the way, then this is your awakening to, oh, so I can be logical and also be circular. I can also be protective, but I can also be vulnerable. Yeah. All right, my loves, be well. Have a fantastic, wonderful day. I will see everybody back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Ciao for now. Bye.
No one ever sees